Hi, this is Kara. Welcome to Breaking Free Fridays, or welcome back if you've been following this series. So today I felt inspired to talk about how to up your resilience. Life has its many ups and downs and twists and turns. And, in some ways we're just inherently resilient beings. I mean, you think about the miraculous nature of little kids and how resilient they are, and even just our bodies and how incredibly resilient they are when you think about just the miraculous nature of healing and just how that unfolds. There's a quote by Winston Churchill that I think is really profound, because to me, resilience is very much connected to courage in some ways. And this quote, it says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. The courage to continue is what counts." And I love that because it captures so much of the essence of what resilience is about, and the continuing forward in spite of the challenge, in spite of the falling down, continuing to get up. It's not so much about how we get knocked down, but how we continue to rise in the face of the challenges. And we all face tough stuff in life. There's you may have heard me talking about this in some of the other videos. If you haven't heard of this author or read this book, I highly recommend it. It's called Power versus Force, and it's by Dr. David Hawkins. And he talks a lot about concepts related to consciousness and levels of energetic frequency, and how these map back to different emotions and states of being. And courage is considered kind of the tipping point. It's at level 200, and the scale goes from, I think it's 20 as the bottom, and that's shame. That's the area that's kind of the lowest level of consciousness, lowest areas of energetic frequency, and then it goes all the way up to full and complete enlightenment, levels of like Christ consciousness, things like that, and that's 1,000. Courage, as the tipping point, is at 200, and that's where there's more momentum that goes in terms of the direction of life supporting, life affirming. Even when there's challenge, we can see the growth. We move forward in the opportunity of the growth and the opportunity of the challenge. And maybe we get knocked back, and but it is again about rising above. And courage is not, there's no fear. It's not about that. Courage is moving forward even when there's fear. It's like you're willing to go beyond that comfort zone, willing to keep rising, to keep trying, that persistence. And one of the things that, well, actually there's three things that I really have found, that some of this distills down to, and it has to do with faith, with willingness, and also with nervous system capacity. So the space that we have within our own ability to regulate our nervous system, our emotions, our mindset. Those are key in really upping our level of resilience and, being able to really continue growing. It's like accepting this beautiful place where we realize that we will not have a challenge or an experience that is greater than the gift that comes from it. And this is such an important concept because sometimes life really throws some some whoppers, really intense things, and we can find ourselves in places where we might want to fall back into spirals of real negative thinking about life. Just there's all these bad things, and just going down this rabbit hole of negativity. And one of the things that's so important to keep perspective on in that is that we can always find, all sorts of things that are wrong in life. And yet we can also find all sorts of things that are right with life and that are going great. And so much of this is about training ourselves and building our framework to really have a set point around what's going right, around seeing the miracles, appreciating the things that are incredible, really tuning into what's great about life, how life supports life. And it's not ignoring the other things. It's just the more that we train and live in a place of that we live at least from a place of courage, even upping our levels of resilience, beyond that tipping point of courage, that we really start to ebb and flow from a place where the challenges, they come and they just don't have the same impact in terms of either feeling like they might, be crushing us, or, how do I even overcome this? It's almost like it becomes, surfing the wave instead of getting overtaken by the wave. If hopefully that makes sense. And I'd love to hear your comments on your experience related to this. What has been a most courageous moment for you? Even reflecting on that and the satisfaction, the fulfillment that you got from basically moving through that place of courage, and going to the other side of where there was more unknown. You were moving past your comfort zone, and going to the other side of it, and experiencing something that ended up being, a huge aha, a breakthrough, a learning, a growth. It could be any number of things that support our expansion and our soul level development. So share in the comments about that, how this is landing, what kinds of things are coming up for you. If you're enjoying these videos, please share them with your loved ones and friends. Subscribe, send a like, and just as a reminder to kind of land back in some of these key principles that we talked about in this, and really how to up that resilience, because life is so much about the journey, and the experience, the adventure. And just like that quote from Winston Churchill, I love that piece about success is not final. it reminds that life is a journey. It is full of experiences. It's different points of time, different pieces of a present moment that we can experience and move from. So I'd love to hear anything that you would like to hear more of in these Breaking Free Friday episodes. If there are topics that are really on your mind, any questions that you might have, let me know. I would love to hear and would be happy to, talk about things that are really coming up for you and are top of mind. And here is to your courage and those three key areas that really help in that continuing to harness courage, that faith, the willingness, and the space that we have in our nervous system, our emotional regulation. So I am wishing you a wonderful week. Here is to your next level of empowerment and breaking free. And bye for now.